Here are 5 things that I learned from taking my WSET D3 test earlier this week, and I'm not sure I passed. I want to give myself maybe 50-50. Let's just start from the beginning. I have been studying it for about 8 months for this test, and let me tell you, the test is broken down into 2 different parts. We have the first day, which is entirely theory, and the second day is tasting. And tasting this year was incredibly difficult. Tell me why there was a Toronto on the test when everyone thought that was actually no one had it, and no one in my class actually had a consensus on what that was. So tip number 1, luck has to do a lot with this test. I actually got incredibly lucky because I could have been staring at a blank page for about maybe 60 minutes, because how did the things that I particularly picked to study because of some divine intervention told me to go in and reread Greece, reread Loire Valley, reread Chile. For those of you who are not familiar, WSET D3 oversees all the wine regions of the world. So that means that you can be tested on any of the, I want to say like dozen or so regions in the world in which they make wine. And so they pick 4 questions on part 1 and 3 questions in part 2. You can skip 1 question and you can pick 3 out of the 4 and 2 out of the 3. Because I actually skipped reading some of the chapters, which you shouldn't do, and I did. For example, Spain, Portugal, Hungary, Austria did not read but was on the test. But luckily I was able to skip it. So luck has to do with a lot with this test, but don't let luck guide your way like it did for me. But I kind of ran out of time, so I had to just roll the dice a little bit. Number 2, no matter how long you study with your hand and you practice studying writing, which I have done methodically just so that my hand doesn't tire out, your hand will tire out. Just take it with a grain of salt. You're writing for your life, you're gripping it with the strength of 1,000 men trying to finish for dear life. You will get tired, because I was writing literally to the last second left in each of the sections. I think I stopped at 2 minutes left and I was able to review things. And then the tasting second day, I was writing up until the last second. Number 3, you will be tasting under adrenaline, so you just need to take a beat as you're tasting, because the second day you get about 12 glasses of wines, 4 different flights, multiple regions, multiple countries, multiple grapes that can possibly be on the test. Drinking under duress is incredibly difficult. The biggest tip that helped me, that I only switched tactics in the middle of my 8 months of studying, is really writing down my notes and doing a takeaway. And last but not least, you need to cram. Cramming will help you, and especially bring your notes so that you can study in between the hour that you have in the lunch break. This year, none of those best practices and historical references actually came into play. Typically, the tip is that if something was asked in a theory day, you wouldn't have it again in a tasting day. But this year, we actually had a full-blown rosé question, 100 points. And the second day we had a rosé. So that is actually not true. So you do need to study everything. So don't be a dummy like me. But yeah, those are my 5 tips from taking the test earlier this week. And then we went to go celebrate regardless of whether or not we passed or not, and hope for the best. So we'll see. I'll check back in with you guys in about 3 months or so and see if I passed. Okay, bye.